he said, ADHD is not a superpower. If you don't know how to harness it, control it, optimize it, yeah, ADHD ain't going to be your superpower. What so many people out there with ADHD don't understand, and I didn't understand this, was the road to transformation. It's much more simple than we make it out to be. Because as ADHDers, we often are prone to thinking about all the things that are going to be required to travel this road. And we get overwhelmed and we don't start.
Right.
Like, oh my gosh, like that's overwhelming. Like, I can't do that. Really what starts changing the game for anyone with ADHD and gets you that healthier balance, because yes, you're right, that ADHD brains tend to take things personally a lot more than others. So like, yeah, like I'm all into personal growth, but man, like I want critical, constructive feedback, and it is tough. It is tough to take it in, to absorb it, because I tend to, it almost kind of screws with my self-esteem.
Yeah. So I like that you have a place on your body for it. Like it's right here. It's right there. I suspect that's exactly where you feel it, like physically when it happens. And I could just imagine, like, during that time of your life when you were at Apple, you were sharing that time when you were at Apple.
Yeah.
You want to share that story? Like, not story, but that season and how you overcame and how you became victorious. Because that's amazing. Yeah,
totally. So essentially, I worked at Apple for over 14 years. I just left Apple like 6 weeks ago, which was a huge decision.
Congratulations.
Huge decision. And I worked in Apple retail for over 14 years. And I quickly went up the ranks and quickly got promoted up to manager, and like really was kicking ass and taking names. And it was an ADHDer's dream, because I mean, 2 weeks into starting at Apple, people were like, how are you doing this? How are you so good with customers? I don't understand how did you get those people to purchase this and that? And like, I mean, how did that happen so quickly or so effortlessly? And I'm like, I'm literally just being myself and having fun with these people. But it was the first time in my life, honestly, where I was asked to do something that was just me being me, and I was awarded for it. And I was celebrated for it. I'm like, this is amazing.
You're in your environment.
I was in my environment. And then I got more responsibility as a manager. I wanted to keep growing. And so I started taking on, new things that I knew I was going to struggle with, but I wanted to learn. I wanted to get better. Okay, Ross, you're going to be in charge of all new hire training. Like, you're going to write the schedule for the new hires, and you're going to plan like when they're going to do this module and that module, like a lot of complexity. Not my forte. Delivering the training
activities like planning schedules every single week.
We're like, Ross, okay, if you want to go the next level here at Apple, like you need to show us that you can schedule the team. So like, you're going to write the entire schedule for the entire Apple Store employee population. I'm like, I knew like, this is not going to be smooth for me. But I'm like, but I want to learn. I want to grow. Well, as I started to take these things on, it didn't go well. It didn't go well. I didn't ask for enough help. I tried to do it like everyone else, and that wasn't working. Mm-hmm. And I was at a new store, and my boss at the time, who I don't hold any ill will towards her, right. But because I've processed all this, and I'm like, I'm better because of all this. But at the time, she had a hot, intense conversation with me. Hot meaning like scary, where she just lit me up. for like 45 minutes to an hour and was
Oh,
like, you're not fit to be a leader. You're not equipped to be a successful leader here at Apple. Like, your time management sucks. And she wasn't, I'm sure she
she
was
was
being a little
doing
more
the best
tactful.
she could with what she had in her little bitty toolbox. And
I did not, exactly. I was not the tool that she needed.
right.
And months into me joining her team, she recognized this.
Mm,
And so she needed me to be something I wasn't.
yeah.
And I had multiple conversations with my superiors, and it was clear, like, I'm going to get fired. I don't want to get fired. I mean, it was the lowest point in my entire life, going from, dude, I'm kicking ass, I'm being myself, I'm learning, I'm growing, to, you suck. Wake up.
And this happens so much when we see this all the time. You get a salesperson that's a top performer. And then they say, oh, you're a salesperson, you're a top performer. Then they want to move them into management. They're not management.
Well, here's the difference. Here's the difference.
People.
Here's the deal. I'm a leader and I'm a coach.
Yes.
I was a coach long before I was certified as a coach at Apple. But the manager part, most parts of management, not my forte. So that was always the rub. And this was one of the lowest moments of my entire life, because I'm basically being told, like, you're not enough. We don't like you the way that you are. You're dragging us down. Or everyone's frustrated by you. Do you not see that? And we need you to be this way. We need you to change yourself and be like this. And I knew that what they were asking was seemingly impossible. So I was given advice: don't silo yourself. That's one of my biggest things I still continue to preach, is like, when you are in a tough situation, the worst thing you can do is be by yourself and do it alone. Reach out, call somebody, like, reach out to those trusted people who believe in you, who see your worth, who value you, who know your strengths. Get advice, get help. I did that. I found my first ADHD coach through hours and hours and hours of research. Found an ADHD clinic in the San Francisco Bay Area for adults, an adult ADHD clinic. Not many exist. One existed within 45 minutes of my house. Started going there, working with a coach, did cognitive behavioral therapy, ADHD coaching. Within 6 months of doing that, worked with one of it was pricey. It was expensive. But I was committed to change. Within 6 months, that same boss came back and essentially apologized, essentially ate her words and said, hey, I got to backtrack. Like, the things I shared with you back in August, and it was like December, January at this time that she's following up with me, I was wrong. Like, you have surprised me and you've proved me wrong. You're an amazing leader. You're someone that I would love to continue to have on the team. Like, total transformation.
Well, you're like, I've always been an amazing leader, but you wanted me to do this tedious management stuff.
and like, through the coaching and cognitive behavioral therapy, it's like I showed enough improvement to reach my goal. My goal was literally to prove her wrong. Brendan Burchard talks about how, like, that's not the best goal to have, but like, that was my goal, to prove her wrong.
That was your Hawaii goal.
Exactly. Exactly. And when that happened, you gotta understand, all along the way, everyone in my life, all my friends, all my family, everyone in my community is like, Ross, just like, why are you working so hard and fighting to stay there? Just go get a job somewhere else. Like, there's a lot of jobs. Like, you've been there a long time. Like, just move on. And I think it's something built into an ADHDer's life experience. We have spent so much time in our life being counted out. Like, the deck is always stacked against us, and we often are the one. We're the one holding the bag, going, well, what the heck am I supposed to do with everyone's feelings of that I'm not enough and da. So when these things happen, we want We want to summit the mountain despite what everyone's saying, whether it's good for us, bad for us, indifferent. We are going to summit the damn mountain.
Yes.
And I'm going to die trying. And when that
it's
happens,
our joy. Summiting that mountain is our joy. Like
yes.
we could like sit in comfort in the valley, right? And whistle our days away, but how boring is that? We want to climb. Right. We want to enjoy the views. We want to get to the top and go, huh, right?
Yeah.
Or come with me, either one. But we're not going to sit there and twiddle our thumbs. First of all, it's not enough dopamine in the world to sit still.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. What ADHDers, man, we see the world as boring. Like our brains, that's why ADHDers do the risky things. That's why we drive fast. That's why we have the risky hobbies. That's why we do the crazy stuff, because we look at what most of the world goes, this is pretty good. And we look at it and go, no, this ain't good. This is not fun. This is boring. I need more. Yes. I need more excitement. Yeah, you're right.
And what's cool, what I love is like when you're in a room of entrepreneurs, because you've got to be able to be willing to take risk as an entrepreneur and learn, because that's how you have to learn, right? Yeah. And I think that's what's so beautiful and wonderful. Like we just had an event here and our CEO came to speak, and we had all these amazing speakers, like top producers, big teams, like fly in and share their knowledge. I had a mastermind 2 days later, and the biggest aha, the thing that got everybody's mind to click and feel better, was the one thing that he shared was that he had 16 failed businesses before he created the largest real estate company in the world.
Wow.
Yes. 16 failed businesses. And he was talking about the businesses and laughing about it. Like one of them, he failed. He's like, he failed so bad. He said he wanted to go under the covers for 2 months, but he couldn't. And he knew that he had to make a decision. He had to go get a job or he had to start another business. I'm so glad he just chose to start another business. Yeah. But it takes somebody like that. And if it weren't for him choosing that, and if it weren't for you choosing to quit Apple, well, first of all, if it wasn't for you choosing to build a business that was successful enough, and you served enough people so that you could quit that, so that you could serve more people, like it's those people like you and like him that are impacting and changing our world.
Dude. I mean, it's like
you're taking the risk. Thank you.
Well, and this is a fact that I mean, people love little stats. ADHDers are 300% more likely to start their own business, to start their own company, to go out and travel the entrepreneurial road.
Yes.
Right? Like, because we think outside the box, because we insatiably are attracted to risk, right? Like it fuels it.
We're willing. My 18-year-old son is going to Portugal. I bought his flight. He has the passport. And I was like, I'll go with you. Right?
Yeah.
And he's like, no. I'm like, oh, my oldest, who's not ADD, I told him, I was like, I'll pay for a ticket to travel the world. He's like, right? He's playing it safe. My ADD kid is like, he's out. He's out. And I'm so just thrilled for him. So what's interesting is like we talk about taking risks and how ADD people can be like all over the place. But you have been married to your, not even high school sweetheart, your junior high sweetheart.
Yeah.
And so that's that stable side. I've been married to my husband like 20 years, right? So it's that we also have this stable side.
Yeah.
How is it that we can be all over the place in other areas of our lives and so incredibly stable in our relationship?
Yeah, that will, I do actually believe that is the reason I've been married to my wife for 13 years, and yeah, met her in junior high and like dated other people, but always came back to like, I like her. I like her.
And she liked you.
I've always been called an old soul
Oh,
all my life. All my
mm,
life, I've been called an old soul. And so for whatever reason, like I'm, aside from the ADHD, that's always just been a part of me. I've always been wired to be excited. Like I've always been interested in growing into the things that come with maturity and adulthood and self-awareness. Like that's always been
mm,
attractive for me. And
yes.
I think partly it's what we grow up with. Like I grew up with my mom and dad like staying committed to one another, and so like my household was stable, and I had a really stable experience with growing up in faith, like growing up in Christianity, going to church, and making that faith my own. So a lot of those things gave me the desire for stability,
Mm,
and and I sought someone else out who also desired those same things.
yeah.
Like I tell my wife all the time, I mean, we could not be more different. The most ironic, hilarious part of marriage is that we marry someone who it's guaranteed will not be that same someone in the years to come. It's
Well, we
it's
could
literally
evolve.
a
Like,
joke,
if you do it right, you're going to help each other evolve. If you do it right, you're
right?
not going to be the same person you married.
But that is the world's like most that's the biggest gamble you could ever take. So like that's one of the things that people get
That's the
wrong about
biggest
marriage.
risk that you ever took.
Yeah, because we've changed so much. We often look at each other and go, like, man, I literally don't know why God put us together. We say that to one another when we're at our wits' end. But you know what? This is the difference. Is I tell my wife this all the time, like, gosh, I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people do it when they don't take those sacraments, that commitment. When you say your vows, for me, it was for life. For my wife, it was for life.
Right.
Unless there is some foul play or some weird shit going on and we all could write on a whiteboard of what that is, unless that exists,
Right.
we're in this. So
Right.
that's the most comforting thing,
Yes.
is that, but I know she's not going anywhere and she knows I'm not going anywhere. So the only option we have is to move through it,
Yes.
together.
People look at me funny. I'm like, oh yeah, death. That's how we're getting out. Like, 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 that's it. There's one way out. That's it.
Yeah.
Death. And it is that comfort. And I guess that it keeps us from doing that spinning, that anxiety spinning, that questioning.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. And I noticed, like, the girl when Sebastian's attracted to a girl, right? The way it ends really quick is when there becomes some kind of drama. Like, she
Mm,
wants to not trust him. Like, she wants
mm,
to pull that rope, like kind of tighten up that leash a little bit. And he's
yeah.
like, he's not having it. He's like, I'm
Mm,
a good person. I do good things. Like, the best thing to do with Sebastian is give him all the rope. Like, just let it all go. And if he jumps off the cliff, just like the rope just goes with him. Like, he doesn't
yeah.
need a rope. Like,
Yeah.
we don't need a rope.
Yeah. Yes.
Because,
That's so
like,
good.
and as long as we know that there's not an exit
Mm,
in this crazy, we're all in.
yes. Yes. Like that. I'm a big believer that all the dysfunction, all the brokenness, all the drama in the world that scares us and freaks us out and overwhelms us, I really am passionate that the fix starts with families. If you fix families, if you help families become healthier and whole again, and you restore love in that family, and you restore curiosity and listening and connection and support, if you do that, you change the entire experience of humanity.
And what's interesting is when you recognize, like, what you're doing is you're teaching moms, right? Like, how to recognize emotional triggers.
Yeah.
And that it's actually what's going on, what we think is going on that's driving us crazy. It's actually ourselves. It's actually not that, but it's actually in ourselves. So we can actually take a deep breath, exhale it, and it's all going to be okay. Like, what we're all stressed out about doesn't matter. Like, if we just, and I think, like, having a coach making us aware and teaching us how to take the correct action will bring so much peace to the family.
Yeah.
Right? Keep the family. Like, we're not yelling at our kids all the time. We're not disappointed all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's about the progress, not perfection. Progress back to the beginning of our
and it's all and like, gosh, I wish we had, like, another 2 hours to talk, because it's all baked into what's broken and not right with the systems we've created. Like, our education system, my gosh, it is so ridiculously outdated.
It's perfect for monkeys.
It's laughable. And
it's great for monkeys, not for fish.
And it's been created as a measuring stick. A measuring stick is the worst possible frame of mind you could have pointed at someone with an ADHD brain. So as parents, it's not even your fault as mom or dad that you are looking at your kid and going, is my kid measuring up? Are they ready for second grade? Like, are they hitting all their marks? Are they measuring up? Like, that's really the thing running through our head. Are they measuring up to their friends? Are they measuring up to the standard? Are they measuring up? Are they measuring up? Instead of asking that, one of the most inspiring things that was shared at the conference for realtors and brokers that I spoke at, and I emceed at a couple weekends ago up in Boise, Idaho, Equip, Prepare for Purpose, was a couple speakers shared this. They said, instead of asking all those questions that derail you and your relationships and your peace, instead ask, what could go right? What could go right?
Because what you focus on expands.
Yeah. So, like, when you're looking at your child and they're driving you crazy and they're not sitting down there and they're not doing their homework, and do they want to fail? Do they not want to have a life? Do they want to live in a van down by the river? What's going on?
Yes, I do. Actually. Yeah, I have one kid. That's exactly what they want to do. Is they want to live in a van, but I homeschool her, so it's going to be okay.
And instead of thinking all that, you can just be more curious.
Yeah.
Recognize they are not you.
Yes.
And they are not going to live your life or the life that you hoped you would have lived yourself. Like, they're going to live their own life. And the way you can best love and support them is by being curious enough to keep learning about them and asking the question, what could go right? Yeah, they're not doing their homework. Maybe they don't go to college. Oh my gosh, Steve Jobs failed out of college. He did all right. Like,
he did all right.
It's, you know what I mean? So we create more strain and we damage the relationship with our loved, cherished family members when we hold up the measuring stick instead of asking, what could go right?
What could go right?
What could go right? And let me continue to be curious enough to keep learning about this unique person who is not like your friends' kids. And like they are so unique and special. Do you really want to zoom right past that so they can be like everyone else? Hell no.
No. No. Well, and it keeps you optimistic, right? It keeps us optimistic. It makes it so much easier to be joyful. Yeah, I agree. I agree so much. And this is something like in our family, we very much are outside of the norm. And it's an experiment. I hope it works out well. We'll find out. Like, like Sebastian is not going to I didn't go to college, right? Juan had a full ride scholarship that he left at 18. He went to go play professional soccer. My dad told me, Bettina, you have no business going to college. Essentially, he said, you're better than that. Right. And he told me a story. You want to hear a funny college story? He told me.
Do it. Tell me.
What happens is the first year of college, you get the freshman class.
Yeah.
The best, the smartest, the smartest ones, the most abled ones, they're going to get pulled out. The most talented ones, they're going to get pulled out their freshman year. Then what you have left is the sophomore class. Your sophomore class, your top talent are going to get pulled out. What you have left is your junior class. And it goes until there's graduation. After that first graduation, the most talented of that group will start contributing to the world. What's left, go off and get a PhD. Now, no offense to those folks who go off and get PhDs. Yay. That's great. That's your environment. Like you were designed to climb that tree, to design to climb that measuring stick. But
more power to
everybody. Like that talent, like sometimes we need people that can swim the oceans, right? That like we need the dolphins in the world. We need this diversity. The top talents get plucked out. Yeah. And that's what he always shared with me all growing up. But my family was like, you got to get a degree. You got to get a degree. And now what's interesting, all these years, they're completely shocked at our life right now. And they think it's remarkable.
Oh, awesome.
They think it's remarkable. I'm like, I know that I'm remarkable, but I'll accept it, right? So it's interesting how that has flipped from like, oh, what a mess Bettina is to, wow, she's remarkable.
That's so cool.
Remarkable kids. So there's hope.
Yes.
There's complete hope for everybody. So I know that you offer an opportunity for folks to visit with you and for you to help them become more aware and to feel like, okay, there's some actions that'll help make a significant impact in my life.
Yeah.
And you offer that opportunity to visit and take time. You graciously take time with them. Can you tell us more about that, please?
Yeah. So, if you go to my website, which you can see on the bottom of the screen here, when you get there, you'll see a bunch of links. Like most of the links will lead you to the same place of basically filling out my coaching intake form. And if you fill that out, that just helps me know that you're serious enough about change. Like you're not just on a whim, like like anyone can just like click buy, click follow. I like that, heart that. Like we all can do that.
Right.
But the person who can slow down and go, yeah, I want to dig deep here and really like unearth some things that I don't normally share with everybody because I want to get on a call with somebody who understands my ADHD brain, understands my child's ADHD brain, because I want to upgrade myself. I want to upgrade my parenting. I want more. I want different. I want better. And you can fill that out and we will get a call scheduled, a free 1-hour call, you and I, where we're going to dig in. We're going to dig into, some of the foundational things around ADHD based on where you're at, or where your child's at, or, whatever. We're going to dig into some high performance proven concepts, practices, strategies that absolutely will start to move the needle in your life. And yeah, it's an amazing opportunity to just start. You got to start if you ever want to travel a different road and end up in a different destination. So
yes,
let's travel it together. Start. Why not? What have you got to lose?
Well, it's a beautiful part of the journey. So, okay, as an ADHD brainer, or whatever, I don't even know the correct terminology. So I want to know, you're like, oh, it's a form I have to fill out.
Yeah.
How rock bottom do I have to hit? Because like, oh Lord, you said a form. How much time do I really need to budget to fill out this form? And if I go down this form and I'm like, oh Lord, is there an opportunity to just hit submit because I just can't get it together in this moment?
So I'm so glad you're asking this, because it's actually giving me a breakthrough right now. I've been thinking, I have known for a bit now that the form is a scary thing for a lot of people. Like we're so impatient that a lot of people are just like, I don't want to do that, and they move on. So here's the deal. For me, I am much better just free flowing. I like it. It halts my creativity. It halts my authenticity if I'm looking at a paper or looking at a screen and typing things out. I just need to like word vomit. So if that's you, seriously, just record either an audio of like open voice memos in your phone and just record you just talking it out. So you're not writing it down. You're not second guessing yourself. You're just talking like you're talking to a human being, because this human is the one who's going to just listen and receive it. Or shoot a Loom video. Shoot something like a Loom video. I freaking love Loom. I communicate with people a lot through Loom because it transcribes everything. I can fast forward. Like it's an ADHDer's dream. So if you need to do something different than fill out the form, do it and do it. And then just DM me. Just DM me on any of my social channels and be like, hey, like I just, created the thing. I couldn't fill out the form. Here it is, or how can I best share it with you? Boom. Like,
right.
Thank you so much, Bettina, because this is so good, because it does. I've almost created like a box, which no one with ADHD exists in a box. So this is so good. So don't get out of the box, be creative, and just capture it.
Like, don't even worry about it. Just get on the schedule.
Yes.
Because I can feel your heart right now. You're like, listen, just get on the schedule. I got you. Right?
Yeah.
And that is about you. You are like, I see about once a month, and I'll see you here in LA in like a week. I'm super excited and super stoked about that, because you bring the energy. You do lead incredibly. You have so much to offer. Your heart to serve and to give consistently over, I don't know, the last year or so, that we've gotten to know each other better and better and better. So we talked about Loom. What are some of your other favorite tools? That wasn't a good transition, by the way, but I just love I just have to say that about your heart. So I know, oh my God, was this an awful transition or what?
The tools, okay. so many tools. So yeah, Loom is a huge one.
You said ChatGPT. How do you use ChatGPT?
So ChatGPT, so I'm all about the technology, all about the apps, all about the tools. A lot of people have said, you need to create a course on that. I probably will at some point. So ChatGPT, I use it like my second brain. Like literally, I hardly go to Google anymore. I start on ChatGPT.
Yes.
I start there because it often just saves me time.
Yes.
Instead of browsing through Google, I'm like, yo, I'm looking for some new deck furniture. Best places to find deck furniture on the web. Where
Yes.
they at? And it's
Where's
like boom,
that?
boom, 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 boom. I'm like, great, I'm gonna
Have
start
you
there.
tried Gemini?
So I tried Gemini early on, and I wasn't impressed with it.
Mm.
And I've been told you should look at it again. You should
Yeah.
look at it again.
I use Gemini for like things. So it's very important for a Gemini that you don't ask it things that could be it's very politically correct and
Yeah,
doesn't want to get sued. So you got
yeah,
to
yeah,
make
yeah.
sure that when you ask it questions, you ask questions in that format, thinking, oh,
Yes.
it doesn't want to get sued. ChatGPT I use for my big projects. Like if I needed to create a business plan, I need to develop something, I need to create something, like I need to plan a big travel and I need a big long conversation. That's usually where I pull in ChatGPT. When I want it to have my personality, like a
Yeah,
pre-trained personality, I have
yeah.
ChatGPT. Like I have a ChatGPT coach, I have a ChatGPT, I don't know, writer. So that's good. How do you use Groove AI?
So that is a great question. But here are two tools
Yeah.
that I think will really serve anyone with ADHD in a profound way.
Okay.
I think are worth they're worth sharing.
Okay.
And then I gotta jump because I have a coaching call. But
Oh, good.
here are the
Oh,
two
yeah.
tools. Here are the two tools. Is one is called, let's see, here we go.
I
So
can.
one is called Goblin Tools. It's this one. Whoop, it's this one right here. Goblin
Goblin
Tools, and the other
Tools.
one's called Prioritizer. Like that way you can just like see what they look like. Prioritizer and Goblin Tools, two apps on your iPhone. Are they on Android? God knows. Who knows? I'm not an Android person. So jump in that pool. Check it
I
out.
am.
But
I'll find out. I am. I'll find out. And if I'll share it'll be
yeah,
up on the screen. Yes.
so yeah, Goblin Tools and what Goblin Tools does is it's an ADHDer's dream. It's a free tool, and there's a web page even for it as well for Android people or whatnot. It allows ADHDers to figure out how long does it take to do this thing. We are terrible at estimating how long things take. Literally, you can be like, how long is it going to take to wash my dog? Like realistically. And it'll be like, all right, it's going to take 2.5 hours. I'm like, what? 2.5 hours? And it shows you
I
why.
think
It's
it's
like,
20 minutes.
it's like,
Tops.
it's like, well, you're going to have to do this and this and this. And you can tell it, like, you can say, hey, I need you to break this down like I'm in second grade, or I don't
Yes.
need you to break this down to like, pull out the hose, turn it on. Like, I don't need that. It's amazing. It's amazing. It'll change your life. The other one, Prioritizer, ADHDers struggle with priority setting. It is a complete pain in the butt to decide what I'm going to do with my time, with my week. And it's one of the biggest things that derails us and keeps us far from the goals that we want to achieve. Prioritizer, I'll put everything in there that I'm hoping to maybe do this week or today.
Yeah.
And it will then just start asking you, it'll be like, hey, Ross, like wash the dog or reach out to that guy who's interested in coaching. And I'll be like, oh, the guy who's interested in coaching, like that's more important. And it compares and contrasts every single thing on your list. It's like a little game or activity. And at the end, it's done all the hard stuff. And it's like, here are the 3 things you should do today. And here's everything that should wait.
Oh, wow. That's
It's
huge.
amazing.
I love that you said it, like it's a game, because I'm a big fan of gamifying everything. Like
It's amazing.
gamifying is like my secret to success for everything for me. It's my dopamine hits, right? Like I
Yes.
know that I need dopamine hits, so I try to do all that kind of jazz. Ross, I want to say thank you. Like seriously, I really would love to visit with you all night. I know you have an appointment you need to go to. I want to tell you how much I appreciate you taking time to visit with me.
Yeah,
And
oh my gosh, so
I
good.
cannot wait to see you.
I know, it's gonna be so great.
Okay, so don't hop off yet.
Y'all need to get to Growth Day live in LA, okay? Like, if you're not on Growth Day, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What the heck?
And here's the thing, if they can't make, I always tell people, if you can't make it to that, get the app. That app
Yeah.
is the best, most life. If you will commit to listening to Brendan every single day and putting in the journal and listening and
Yes.
learning and training and self-improvement every single day, if you can afford personal coaching, which I highly recommend, because it's that accountability thing to take you to that next level and helping you identify, but dang, that's a great app.